Every heroic journey has sacrifices. Every person has moments in their life where they have to make tough decisions.
It's intense. It's emotional.
Hard fights and bitter losses and stuff.
Something about making the decisions, right or wrong, good or bad.
So, how do you want to do this?
Welcome back to D&D Beyond, and I am very excited to have with me back for the new year, amazing special guest, Riley Silverman. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm very good, and I'm very excited because I knew what I wanted to talk about today, and then I reached out to you, and you were like, oh, yes, this is the right subject, because I have not had a chance to dive in to the subclasses that we got 2 years back in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. And today we are going to take a look at one of those that I think is incredibly cool, and we are going to quick build an Echo Knight Fighter. This is one of the 3 subclasses from Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, and of course, we have this on the brain right now because we are looking forward to the forthcoming release of Call of the Netherdeep, the first full-length adventure that you will be able to play in the world of Exandria, which is coming out in March and which starts at level 3. So today, Riley, if you will, as quickly as we can, because I want to see if we can do it, mostly,
Yeah.
we are going to build ourselves a 3rd level Echo Knight Fighter for a theoretical Call of the Netherdeep campaign, and maybe look ahead at where we might go with that a little further on, since the campaign takes you from levels 3 to 12. How's that sound?
I'm very excited about that. I want to echo your excitement and how fun this will be to do. So
It's already going well. Now, fairly quickly, you are a fan of the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount.
yeah, I'm a really big fan of it. I picked it up when it was new, when it came out 2 years ago, and I really loved it because even if you're not a Critical Role fan, I think it's a great book for D&D, especially for newer players, because I think sometimes Forgotten Realms can be very intimidating to new players because there's so much lore and there's so much there's so many books that are published in so many places. And I think what's really nice about the Wildemount book is that even if you don't watch Critical Role, if you just have this book, it is a very self-contained fantasy setting, and it's very easy to pick it up and really understand what each of the areas, like what the cultures are like there. There's so many different types of places you can go. You have the coastal area, the Mazuri Coast. You have the more Dallen Empire, the more standard fantasy setting, and then you got the more out there stuff with the Kryn Dynasty. So it's really, there's a whole lot of things you can do, and then each section actually has hooks for what stories could be happening within that area, and so you really get a great just self-contained toolbox for different fantasy cultures, different cities that have different organization structures and stuff like that. And so it's really I feel like it's one of the books that if you only had the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster's Manual, and this book, you could run a lot of really great campaigns with it. So yeah, I really like it.
Which I hope people have and have been doing. And of course, it contains some level 1 through 3 adventures if you want to sort of warm up on your way to other stuff. But the other things that it has, of course, that you can bring into your own game are 3 subclasses that relate. You mentioned the Kryn Dynasty, which for those who do watch the show, without getting a lot into, I feel like this is not spoilers, but watch with caution. This is just basically the we're going to be talking about what these subclasses do and why. And that's because they use something extremely cool called Dunamancy,
Yeah.
which is taking dunamis, or sort of the energy of possibility, and channeling it into different effects. So there's 2 different ways to be a wizard with this, and one way to be a fighter with a little something extra. And Riley, you had what makes the Echo Knight fun as a concept for you?
I'm really excited about it because I think that there are a lot of subclasses for fighters, and a lot of them are really interesting, but I feel like what makes them different is more flavor based. Like you're getting your archer versus your battle master. There's it's more based on what your particular fighting style is. Whereas this one I feel like gives you a totally different way to play as a fighter. And so I really like the subclasses that really flip the main class on its head a little bit. And so, you're still getting all the cool benefits that you get from being a fighter. You're still getting all the, ability score increases that you get there extra and things like that. You're still building a tank character, but this gives you a whole extra way of getting to fight. It's almost like getting a familiar that is you. Like it's like having your own little variants that pops up from time to time to help you out in battle. And when played right, it can really make or break a battle. Like you could really, I think that with magic users, you tend to have more of this sense of like one action could change the face of a battle. And I think that not that fighters don't have that too, because I've done some damage as a fighter, but I've one shot killed a dragon as a fighter. But I still think this is a really interesting new subclass that gives you that ability to like you can change the face of a battle based on this.
All right. And what exactly does that mean? In our case, the Echo Knight fighter is drawing on the sort of area of magic that is Dunamancy. The primal magical energy of potentiality and actuality. An anticipatory arcane force that helps shape the multiverse and might very well be what holds its elements together, like an infinite web of unseen tethers. Now, how does that let you kick butt in a battle? We're about to find out. Hmm. There are some great inspiration here for how to sort of ground a character using this in backstory elements that you should definitely check out. But the fighter. At third level, a fighter gains martial archetype, and the new option for that of the Echo Knight can be summed up as follows: a mysterious and feared frontline warrior of the Kryn Dynasty. The Echo Knight has mastered the art of using Dunamis to summon the fading shades of unrealized timelines to aid them in battle. Surrounded by echoes of their own might, they charge into the fray as a cycling swarm of shadows and strikes. 10 out of 10 for flavor.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
gonna
great
start
flavor.
for storytelling possibilities of like, and now I summon Eye Patch Me, and now I summon Pirate Me, and now I
Here's the
summon Stayed
alligator.
in the Army Me. What?
Here's alligator me. Like it's just
Exactly. No one can stop you. Well, that's between you
yeah.
and your DM. No one other than you and your DM can stop you. Mm. But let's dig into what you specifically get to do once you have summoned those possibilities that never were, that reflect your fighter using the power of Dunamis. Can you tell us, Riley, what you get at the third level with Manifest Echo? Now, here's the big beautiful thing that you can do. I think it comes right away at third level.
Yeah, you basically get to create your own flank. Like you get to manifest a echo of yourself. It's a lot like duplicity, invoking duplicity as an ability. You get to create an echo of yourself within 15 feet. It stays there until you cast it again or you're incapacitated. There's no time limit for it. There's also no finite amount of times you get to use it. This is just like your natural ability as a fighter. And it has AC of 14 plus your proficiency. Only has one hit point, so it can get knocked away, but you can just recast it as a bonus. It's not a cast, but you can create it as a bonus spell. And basically, it uses your saving throws. It's your size, occupies the same amount of space, but on your turn, you can move it. And so you can actually, if you're in a battle, you can actually kind of have it facing off against other opponents at a time when you are. And so you can get some extra swings because, first of all, on your bonus action, you can teleport between you and your echo, which only costs you 15 feet of movement. But if it's 30 feet away from you, you can teleport to it and then move 15 more feet. So you could actually get further away in the battle if you needed to. You would lose the echo if you did that, but you could. Also, when you take the attack turn on your action, you can attack from yourself or you can attack from the echo, which is really useful depending on what's happening in battle. And then also, when a creature moves within 5 feet of your echo gets an attack of opportunity. So
Or when they move
that
away.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, that can change the like dynamics of a battlefield because now suddenly there are two different spaces where if a person moves, they could possibly get a reaction attack out of you. So that alone is pretty awesome. That is the infinite, and you can use that. It's just a natural bonus ability that you have. And then the next step above that is that another third level feature you get is that when you take the attack on your turn, your echo can attack as well. And that's a more finite resource because otherwise that'll be really OP. But it's more finite. You only use it up to a number of times equal to your constitution modifier. So, you'll get to do it more and more as you level up. But also, as you level up, the more attacks you get, that could be pretty devastating. If you're already getting to attack 3 times and now you can add a fourth attack in there just by burning one of these usages, that could be really, really useful in the middle
So
of
that feature is
battle.
called Unleash Incarnation. The two things you get at third level are Manifest Echo and Unleash Incarnation. And Riley, you've put it beautifully. Mechanically, it's not exactly flanking because your echo is not a creature or an ally, but
Right.
it does enable you to be to surround someone or be in two places at once or use a lot of these variabilities of time and space and possibility to create some things that fighters normally can't do. And because your attacks come from you but can originate from the location of your echo, you have a very different balance between melee and ranged, between the need for defense and the possibilities of offense that is, for me, sort of unique to the Echo Knight fighter. So you get a lot of cool possibilities. If you wanted to combine this with the Barbarian's Reckless Attack, you get some very interesting effects on the trade-offs of vulnerability and power. And of course, it means you can invest your resources differently because every time it gets knocked down, as Riley said, it's just a bonus action to bring back the same or another echo. Again, a flavor possibility.
It could be really
Uh,
cool if you have a squishy member of your party, because then you can basically put your echo between the squishy one and the rest of like the baddies, and you can be doing your own stuff as the fighter. And then if they get in trouble, you're like, boop, pop over to that spot. I'm ready to go. Don't come toward a wizard. I'm gonna opportunity attack you.
Absolutely. So the ability for those opportunity attacks to come to be triggered by you or your echo, and that you can swap back and forth. You can't summon the echo and swap with it on the same turn. So there are some limits. But since you can bring it back over and over and over again and use those movement, because it just moves around in space. It's just like a hard light
Yeah.
construct. You get a lot of cool possibilities. So let's start building ourselves our third level Echo Knight fighter. And I prepared a neutral uh, character for our collective account named Temporaricus. Um, TBD as we start putting this together. But if you are watching on Twitch right now, you can follow along. You might need to refresh a few times to see these changes take effect, but we're going to move around in the builder and see how that works for y'all who are following along at home. So I used a quick build with the first alphabetical. So we're in Aarakocra Artificer right now. But of
Okay.
course, that's not the goal here. We're making ourselves an Echo Knight fighter at third level to get ready. So I'm actually going to do this out of order and go straight to class because we know what's up. We know what we want to do. We're getting rid of Artificer. And we are going to be, did I turn on
Fighter.
Critical Role content? That's the first question we should find
Oh
out.
yeah, good point. You did not, so good thing we checked it.
Important note. You're going to want Critical Role content for this. Because we want to be a fighter. We want to be a third level fighter, which means we are going to pick a martial archetype. And we are going to be the Echo Knights. You can see those features that we just talked about, manifesting the Echo and unleashing your incarnation, which is whenever you take the attack action, you can make one additional melee attack from the Echo's position, which is before you even get your extra attack at fifth level. You already got this. And we're not going to want to neglect our constitution because that's going to determine how many uses we have of this, and it's going to come up in a couple places on Echo Knight. So despite
Yeah.
the fact that you can make it take hits for you, you're not going to want to skimp on constitution with this class.
Yeah. Just because if it takes a hit, it gets knocked out. So you're gonna want to be able to like keep going with it. So
Riley, did you have thoughts on what you'd want to do for today for our build for the fighting style for our Echo Knight?
I think since we're looking at a mostly melee fighter, I think we're either gonna want to go with duelist, which gives you the bonus to the attack, or two weapon fighting, so that way you get the extra bonus attack. I mean, if you do two weapon fighting, you have so many ways of hitting. Like it is just the most amount of hitting. So I think definitely I would want to go with something more melee based than ranged based because I feel like so much of the bonuses you get are melee attacks. So I think yeah, either duelist or two weapon. What are you thinking?
Uh, you know, So dueling, when you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. Or two-weapon fighting, when you engage in two-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack, which of course ordinarily does not work.
Yeah.
Fighters are special. I love both of these options. Let's go dueling.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Because you might be using your bonus attack a lot of times to deal with your Echo Knight. So that way now you're doing damage when you do your regular attacks, which you're gonna get a lot more of. So it makes more sense to maximize that.
And in theory, let's see. When you're wielding blah 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 plus bonus to damage rolls, this means if those opportunity attacks land, they're going to land just a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So we are clearly guarding the battlefield with this build already. Do we know? Do you have an idea? In our case, I'm just going to say the field is completely open on this. What race should we pick today for our fighter?
I think we should just stick with Aarakocra because you already got it in there. So I think it's a fun little birdie animal. So not that
Which is
little,
very
but
interesting. You can already move your echo vertically, which combined with the Aarakocra's flight could make for some very interesting possibilities.
yeah, it's true. I didn't think about it that way. I was just going with simplicity of what's already there, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
So we have rolled an open field for this. That's going to give us extra dex and wisdom. Now, this is not specifically intended to optimize our Echo Knight fighter. That's not generally the way I play. If you wanted to sort of max those out, you're going to look for things with strength or constitution, or use the optional rules to reassign your ability score increases from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. But I'm of the opinion that any decently workable combination is very, very fun. So
Agreed.
I love it.
Plus, your dexterity is going
ec-
to give you a higher AC. So, if you start building up your strength as you go, that AC bonus will help you out a lot.
And my initiative is never going to hurt. You can get the jump on those battlefield tactics. Of course, your Echo's AC is always going to be fixed,
Yeah.
or fixed compared to dexterity. I think it adds your proficiency, right? AC plus
Yeah. It's 14 plus your
proficiency.
proficiency. Yeah.
Thank you. 14 plus your proficiency is the consistent formula for your Echo, but you can use all the benefits of that.
Yeah. And as long as you're
While
still standing, you can keep throwing that echo out there. So,
proficiencies for our Echo Knight fighter, I would say we want perception because we haven't talked about this yet, but later on, our Echo Knight is going to gain a spectacular scouting ability, which is going to let us send our Echo to be our eyes and ears up to 1,000 feet. The ordinary Echo can only go 30 feet from you, or rather, it can travel as much. Let me figure out the right way to say this. You can move it 30 feet on your turn. You can summon it up to 15 feet away. If it ends the turn more than 30 feet from you, it goes away, which is fine because you can bring it right back. But
yeah.
if you're using a higher level scouting feature that comes with the Echo Knight, it can go 1,000 feet away and be your eyes and ears. So
For
I
up to
would
10
say,
minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a valuable thing to have.
All right, one more.
Yeah. Let's see.
Got acrobatics, animal handling, athletic, history, insight, intimidation. Oh, we're a folk hero right now, so that's why those are selected.
Gotcha. I think if you're building a fighter, I think having athletics is usually a pretty solid choice to make because it's one of those ones like it's strength and you're gonna have high strength, so it's a good one to have. Intimidation's also very good, but we already have that one because of the all right. So
In our particular case, because I used a quick build to start us off.
that's right.
So, if we were to peek ahead, we will of course get our standard fighter goodies like extra attack. We will get that Echo Avatar, which is the scouting feature we were talking about at 7th level. At 10th level, we will get something Riley alluded to earlier, which is the Shadow Martyr ability, which essentially lets you throw your Echo in front of your buddy and take a hit when needed, when you know an attack is coming for them, but the roll hasn't been made yet, which I think makes this a wonderfully cooperative class and gives a new flavor for your Echo. And then, of course, there are the much higher level features which let you potentially gain some temp HP when those echoes go away and eventually have two at once. So for those abilities, I'm gonna reset this to.
Yeah,
We
that's
can do
probably
the
a good
standard
call.
I used a quick build.
No, that's fine.
We're gonna put these all back. So we're thinking we want strength followed by constitution, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good call because you're already getting the natural bonus to your dexterity. So I think now's where you make up that absence and strength. The nice thing about a fighter is you do get more ability score increases than in other classes do. So it's a good class for optimizing your character stats because you can really be willing to start out maybe less optimized, but you're going to make up that difference as levels go up anyway.
Now, I would say we are going to get a dex bonus because we're in Aarakocra right now, and we haven't chosen to reassign those. So, do you want to go wisdom next, followed by dex?
Yeah, because that way the perception benefit is even better.
I think that might work for us in the long run. And who comes in last for us, our intelligence or our charisma?
I'm gonna say I want to. That's a tough one. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you make this call. What do you think?
I will say, let's see.
Let's dump charisma because we got to be bad at something. So like if we're gonna be, let's make us less charming than we need to be.
We spent that should be our thing. All of our echoes have higher charisma than we do. You can just tell. They can't really
Oh, I
speak
love
or do
that.
anything, but you can just tell, you know? Better outfits, whatever you want to go with there.
Everyone likes my
Haunted
echoes
by our
more than me.
exactly. Now these echoes are actually translucent, gray, shadowy versions of you, although they do take up space. But that doesn't mean they can't look awesome. All right, so we'll need a portrait, of course. We have elected to be an Aarakocra today. I'm thinking our blue friend over here.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think the echoes might be the more colorful, vibrant ones. You're like, but if I had those cool feathers, but I don't.
It's absolutely a flavor you could choose to express those. And Minor Illusion 42 has suggested what I think probably has to be the name of our quick build Echo Knight fighter, Echo Kokra.
Yeah, do it.
So Echo Kokra, using the existing, we're sticking with the folk hero and equipment choices from the quick build that we started with here. And now, in probably the fastest I have ever done this, we have ourselves a third level Echo Knight ready to take on some adventure in the world of Wildemount and answer the call of the Netherdeep. Thank you so much, Riley, for helping me bang that very quickly into life.
Yeah, I think that when you have a subclass like this that is so clearly defined as what its strengths and skills are, it's really easy to build a quick character for it because you really know what you're going for while you're making it.
And of course, you'll want to fine tune the way that you practice figuring out the limits of those abilities. Make sure that you're paying attention to your strength and your constitution as you do those ability score increases. And when you obviously you can work on ranged attacks, but keep focused on melee abilities because some of those specifically are going to play in to your Echo Knight fighter, and you can have a ton of fun with it in your campaigns.
Yeah, and if
Riley,
you
where
do
can
like ranged attacks, I think that ranged attacks, like if you yourself use range and then your echo uses the melee, that can be a fun like combination of things too.
Indeed, because you can split those actions up between yourself and your though you can split the attacks up between yourself and your echo. And you can move them with your mind at basically any point in that process. So wonderful, really fun possibilities in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. Riley, where can people find you if they want to know more about this before we move on to Q&A?
You can find me on Twitter at Riley J Silverman or Instagram at Riley Silverman. Those are the two best places these days.
Excellent. And again, thank you. This was the fastest I think I've ever done this. We'll see if I can beat my record next time. But you can take a look at Echo Cobra using the link that we've put down in the description or that's running right now through Twitch chat.
It's D&D.